Today we are going to continue chapter number 8, Framing of Constitution and its feature, lecture number 6. Friends, in this chapter up to now we have discussed a lot of things. Like we discussed about the importance of Constitution, how our Constitution was formed, that is the framing of our Constitution, how our Constitution was framed, how it was implemented, on which day it was implemented. Then we also discussed about the important preamble, who gave the contribution in the framing of our Constitution. We discussed about the democratic country. Friends, in the beginning itself, when we started discussing about the framing of the Constitution, we understood about the importance of the Constitution, in which we discussed why this Constitution was important. Why it is important for each and every country. Friends, here it is said that rules are necessary for running any countries very smoothly. If a country wants to progress, a proper constitution is required for it. So when we can have this constitution a proper, which kind of country follows which kind of constitution? Friends, when we are discussing about this constitution, in the beginning only we understood that this constitution is important to guide the government that how to work, in which manner to work. What are provisions that should be followed for the welfare of any country? What is constitution? It is a collection of rules for a country to follow. It is a collection of rules to govern any country. That is the constitution. We understood while we were discussing about constitution that constitution of our country is the largest written constitution of the world. Friends, when we talk about the constitution, our Indian constitution is said to be live document. It is not like it is a permanent. No changes can be made, no amendments can be made. But instead of that, as per the requirement of people's need, people's expectation, people's aspirations, changes can be made, amendments can be made in our constitution. And that is why our constitution is known as the live document. We discussed how our constitution was framed. Friends, when Britishers sent the cabinet mission over here to discuss about the matters of Indian independence, and when they discussed about this, they suggested to form a constituent assembly to form the Constitution of India. As per the guidelines of the cabinet mission, the Constituent Assembly was formed. This Constituent Assembly was formed and the President of Constituent Assembly was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Many experts from various fields, people from different areas gave their contribution in framing this constitution. People like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Jawaharlal Nehru, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, females like Sarojini Naidu, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, they gave their contribution, invaluable contribution in framing our constitution. They discussed on each and everything before framing the constitution. A drafting committee was formed to draft our constitution under the chairmanship of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. And members of this drafting committee were appointed from different geographical diversities, different castes, different creed, different religion, experts from different various fields. All were included in this drafting committee to give their contribution. A thorough discussion was done. Each and every concept was discussed upon before making our constitution. Even the foreign constitutions, the constitutions of other countries were also looked and discussed and the positive things of the foreign constitution was included in our constitution. Friends, with all these efforts, our constitution for 166 days, in a period of 2 years, 11 months and 18 days, at last our constitution was framed. And on 26 January 1950, it came into force. It was implemented on people. India became republic on that day. And that is why, since 26 January 1950, every year on 26 January, we celebrate Republic Day. Friends, we also discussed about preamble, that what is preamble? It is the introduction of constitution. Preamble is also known as the soul of constitution, as each and every detail, each and everything related to constitution, even every basic information related to constitution is mentioned in the preamble. It is the guideline for the government to run the welfare state. Here, the preamble shows the ideas and it reads the minds of the constitutional framers, that what was there in their mind during framing this constitution. Before it solves the problems of misinterpretation in the constitution. If there is any disputes related to the opinion of the people and the constitution, preamble plays a very important role. Preamble guides and gives information related to the laws. Why these laws were framed? What was the reason behind framing this law? Each can be understood by preamble. Friends, after that we discussed about the democratic country. That what is democratic country? In any democratic country, if we talk about democratic country, it is said that a democratic country is a country in which we see the ultimate power is in the hand of the people. The word democracy comes from the Greek word. Demos means people and kratos means power. That means the ultimate power is in the hand of the people. Democracy. When we talk about democracy, here the people has the power to choose their representative through the medium of elections. They elect their representative. The friends, in a democratic country, each and every people has been given the right to cast their vote without any discrimination. If any person has the constitutional eligibility, he can contest the election as well without any discrimination. Friends, here in a democratic country, people has the power even to remove the president and prime minister from their post. The word democracy means of the people, by the people and for the people. That means ultimately the power lies in the hand of the people. Friends, we discussed about the elections and the formation of government in democratic country in our previous lecture, in which we discussed that the people elects their candidate through the medium of elections. And the person who is elected becomes the representative of parliament. And the person who wins, the person with the majority of votes, or the party who comes with the majority number, the leader of that party becomes the prime minister of the country. That prime minister makes their cabinet minister. These cabinet ministers are from the parliamentary post only. They both work together for the welfare of the country, for the welfare of the people. So this was all about the democratic country, elections and the formation of government. Friends, today we are going to learn about the another ideology, that is a socialist country. As we discussed previously, democratic country. Today we are going to cover the topic that is about a socialist country. What is a socialist country? Let us understand about the socialist country. Friends, here it is said that in the year 1976, Indian Constitution was amended and the word socialist, in the year 1976 Indian Constitution was amended and the word socialist was added in the word socialist was added in the 42nd amendments was added, the word socialist was added in the 42nd amendment. This means from then India is considered as a socialist country. That means after the amendment that was made in the year 1976, in the 42nd amendments, when this word was added, socialist word was added, India is considered as the socialist country from then. Most of the provisions, here it is said that most of the provisions in the Indian Constitution, most of the provisions in the Indian Constitution directly or indirectly shows the social revolution, which brought social and economical quality among people, which brought social and economic quality among people, and further aims for the welfare of the country. Here it is said, most of the provisions of the Indian Constitution directly or indirectly shows the social revolution, which brought social and economical quality, among people, which further aims for the welfare of the country. Ultimately, the main aim is the welfare of the country. Friends, here it is said that as stated in the preamble, the principles of socialist, the principle of socialistic pattern, all the principles that are of socialistic pattern provides social, economical, that patterns provides social, economical and political equality for the citizens. Here it is said, as stated in the preamble, whatever the principles are there in socialist pattern, that means each and every citizen should be given social, economic and political equality. Each and every people of India should be equal in social field, economical field and political field. Each and every citizen should be given equal importance. The concept, if we talk about the concept of socialist, is now regarded as the prime feature of India. It is regarded as the prime feature of India. It reflects the fact that India is committed. It totally reflects the fact that India is committed to secure social, economical and political justice, to secure social, political justice for all its people. The concept of the socialist is now regarded as the prime feature of our country, and that is why it reflects the fact. What is it reflecting? That India is committed towards giving each and every citizen social, economic and political justice. Each and every people are given justice in all the field, social field, economic field as well as the political field. It also means that India aims at. It also means that India aims at ending all forms of exploitations. It means that India is aiming to stop all the kind of exploitation. No exploitation can be done with the people of India after this. So it ends all the form of exploitation. It also means this also means that it also aims at securing equitable distribution of income. It also aims at equitable distribution of income, resources and wealth among its citizens. India also aims at ending all kind of exploitation, means no exploitation can be done. It also aims about securing equitable distribution, equal distribution of income is done among all classes of people, all resources are distributed equally among all people, as well as the wealth is distributed equally among the people, means each and every people are treated equally in our country. Friends, here it is said, as per the concept of socialist, one person, as per the concept of socialist, one person cannot have, one person here, as per this one particular person cannot have all the excess powers of state, all one person cannot have all the excess power of states, of powers of states over all assets, over all assets as well, then should not have power over all assets. Instead, everyone should have, instead of one particular person, everyone should have equal opportunity by feeling proud. All should have equal opportunity by feeling proud of getting facilities and provisions, and all the provisions from the society, all the provisions from the society. As per the concept of socially, one person, one particular person is not having the absolute power of the states on all assets. No one is having such kind of power. But instead of that, everyone should have equal opportunity by feeling proud of getting this facility and provisions from the society. Thus, a socialist nation, if we talk about socialist nation, it aims at eliminating the discrimination. It aims at eliminating the discrimination of rich and poor. Friends, here it is said that what is the ultimately the socialist nation, who is called the socialist country? Socialist nation is aim of the socialist country is to eliminate the discrimination of rich and poor. Means in a socialist country there is no discrimination between the people, whether that person is rich or whether that person is poor. No such kind of discrimination is experienced in such country. Therefore, we can say that therefore we can say that Indian Constitution is, if we talk about Indian Constitution, it is a socialistic document. Then here ultimately, therefore, by looking about all these socialist things, we can clearly say that our constitution is a socialistic document. That means it is the power of each and every people. no discrimination between rich and poor is there. Ultimately, each and every people has got the power in this socialist system. Everyone gets the chance, gets the opportunity to progress in our country. So that is about the socialist country. Why this word socialist was amended in the year 1976 in the 42nd Amendment. You have clearly understood, friend. So we learn about the another topic in our next lecture. Thank you.